Schrecken de Krieges, e haburu bor zelmai. Horrors of war. Driven by resentment and suspicion of spying, the Habsburg army persecuted parts of its own population as the enemy within. Yet many thousands of civilians fell victim to the soldiers' acts of atrocities during the military invasions as well. Besides the war crimes of the marauding troops, the Habsburg military courts also distinguished themselves with an inglorious efficiency. There was an intense resentment on part of the Austro Hungarian army towards the ethnical religious minorities from within their own state, as well as towards civilians in the occupied territories as well. This led to an extensive distrust in certain segments of the population, who were under general suspicious or untrustworthy espionages or even collaborators with the enemy. The acts of violence committed by the Habsburg army were aimed in particular at the Jewish, the Polish, the Ruthenians, and also populations in Bukovina, Galicia, and other parts of occupied Russian regions, as well as against Serbians, Montenegrins, and even the Bosnians, which they have taken over in 1908, and also all the population that were conquered areas in the Balkans that they had took over, especially Croatia and other such nations like that. They also included hostage taking, hostage shootings, mass deportations, incarceration and forced labor, and of course mass executions. And of course the violent policies of the military were accomplished by further violence that were accessed and were actually partly tolerated and left unpunished, such as rape, looting, arbitrary killings, and the destruction of houses and homes and properties. While inter den Buffran und Deisa und uns Lot Vorderginsen und alle und Tuten and alles Nekenbunnehe was on in Alafin disease vergesse Botshetine und alle Serbianschi ze Santorin. An Austrian soldier who invaded the Serbian city of Sabak in August 1914 describes the arrangement as follows. We received an order, and this read out loud to us, to kill everyone and burn down everything that crosses in our path in the course of this campaign, and to destroy all that was Serbian. During the massacre of Sabak, looting and arson took place over several days. The population was interned, humiliated, maltreated, raped, and obviously arbitrarily murdered. In the course of these atrocities, costing more than 200 civilians of their lives, that also occurred in mass shooting on the 17th of August 1914. The villagers were herded into the church square. Around 80 of them were ordered to be shot dead and buried in mass graves. Even though the scale of executions is hard to reconstruct today, it can be assumed that the number of victims killed runs in the thousands. According to various sources, 11,400 or even 36,000 civilians were condemned to the gallows in early months of the war already. Additionally, hangmen had been recruited and trained by the authorities as early as 1914 in order to carry out a number of death penalties as well. Oftentimes, no particular event would need to be set in motion for the martial law machine to commence. A saltless comment, a flimsy suspicion, or a hint dropped by an informer was all you needed to do to get your neck in a noose and to hang as an innocent civilian from the gallows. The military jurisdiction eliminated its victims preferably by the means of the gallows in the main square of the village or town, forcing the population to attend the executions. The lifeless bodies were left to hang by the noose for several days, as clearly shown by the treatment meant out for spies and traitors by the Austro-Hungarian army. The men who hang from nooses, the females who were nailed to the cross, and of course the babies who were stabbed by bayonets, all serve as a reminder that sometimes war is not as glorious as it seems. Even in the times where war was seen to be glorious to die for one's country, there were still atrocities on every front, by every person, by everywhere. And even though the Allies did not do as much atrocities as the Central Powers, they did their atrocities as well, just covered it up very well. And that is the story of the punishment expedition, kind of. Another dark one, yes. Yeah, we're going very good. We got like 4 dark ones already. Austria-Hungary is not to be messed with, must tell you that. Anyway, hope you enjoy something. Hope you learned something. I hope you really enjoyed. Anyway, I'm gonna beat my cousin in some Smash because he's talking all trash. And I hope you enjoyed. Yeah, it's kind of a weird mood. Like, yeah, depressing and then happy, but you know you gotta do what you gotta do. Hope you enjoyed. And remember, I might think of war as a glorious thing, but I always do these episodes to bring us back to reality of what war truly is. To die by honor with the rifle, or to be shot to pieces by artillery shell 50 miles away from a real gun. What is war? This is modern war. Enjoy. Learn something.